Namaste. Today we will discuss about the COVID-19 tested positive. What is the rules for self-management? It is a sort of a guide or a primer for the self-management of the patients at home level. The disclaimer to be noted, please. This is only a basic and general education, so you are requested to consult your doctor always for all the guidance. And this is for education purpose only and not for actual treatment purpose. And it is based on the frequently asked questions by the patients, their relatives, general public, and also on the basis of the evidence that we are having regarding COVID-19 as on 5th of September 2020. The major objectives of this talk would be about primary prevention, which means can I escape the virus? And it is about secondary prevention, which means early diagnosis and treatment of the viral infection. And the tertiary prevention, which means disability limitation or rehabilitation after the COVID is cured. So let us look at the primary prevention. The most important question that we are facing today is, can I escape getting infected? And many people are eager to get infected and they ask the question straight on our face. Sir, is it not better to get infected once so that I get cured? And once I am cured, I can move around freely, I can do my job freely. So this is a very common question, but you have to assess your risk quotient called as RQ. And you never know what happens to an individual irrespective of the risk. We have seen people with very low risk succumbing to the disease, and we have seen people with very high risk coming out successfully with treatment. So the take-home message is, it is not prudent or wise to get infected. It is always better to prevent the infection as far as possible. Some people even tell that they quote other doctors, including great doctors like Agarwal and others, who have told that you will get infection one day, you cannot escape. But as an epidemiologist, I will tell you, all will not be infected. Even if the rule is all are to be infected, we have what is known as herd immunity. 60 to 70% are infected, the rest of them are protected. But even that is also not possible and feasible in a country like India. So let us always remember and adhere to the fact that it is our primary duty to prevent the infection by all possible means. So please underline this. And the next question that we face is, will we get a vaccine? And if yes, how soon? So we will have a vaccine sooner or later, but let us not worry about it as of now, because here the enemy is in our doorsteps. So let us not worry about getting an ammunition or a gun to fight, which is a long process. So let us see how do we ward off the enemy right now instead of buying a gun after 6 months. So please remember this. Let us not worry about the herd immunity also. What are the preventive measures that I should adopt is another question. It's a very important question. So please look at these points. The first and the most important dictum or the rule is SMS. Easy to remember. Nowadays we use this term very often. The first S means social distancing, M means masking, and the S is sanitizing. Sanitizing the hands, sanitizing the entire body. And then you all know this. We need to adhere to this very strictly and religiously in all the places and even at homes whenever there is a risk. And economy of travel and mode of travel, lesser the travel, better it is. And how do we travel is also very important. And then it is very important for us to download this Arogya Setu app and keep our Bluetooth always on. Very important. And if you are working outside, the workplace etiquette, along with the SMS, what are the other things that you have to follow when you are in a workplace, when you are dealing with customers is very important. I will not go into the details, but in other talks, I will give details about this, but you have to remember that there are certain workplace etiquettes, especially for high-risk people, which need to be followed, which also includes working from home, which also includes separate chambers for high-risk individuals, which also includes demarking the visitors zones, which also includes no touch techniques, which also includes using certain protective equipments. And another important factor for prevention is using low inflammatory diet. What is low inflammatory diet? No junk food, less of sugar, less of rice, less of salt, all whites, white food, and refined food, and non-vegetarian. These are all highly inflammatory diets, and the virus is also going to cause inflammation. So if you use high inflammatory diet, it is also going to add to the problem. Then yoga, exercises, pranayama, and meditation all are going to help us in keeping our immunity in good shape. So you have to do it if you are doing, and if you are not doing, you can also think of start doing something. And vitamin C and zinc you can start taking from today itself. They are good for your health also. So it is going to help us in fighting the virus in case if it enters our body. And ivermectin tablet, many studies have shown that ivermectin is useful. It is a deworming tablet. You can consult your doctor and take deworming tablet. That is ivermectin tablet. Adults 12 milligrams, children 6 milligrams. But I will ask you to request you to consult your doctor and then decide about this ivermectin tablet. But vitamin C and zinc you can start taking, no problem. Another important evidence that we have got is povidone iodine gargle and nasal wash is going to bring down the viral load in the nasal cavity and the oral cavity. So nasopharynx and oral cavity is the area where the virus colonizes in the initial stages of the disease. So if you use povidone iodine gargle and nasal wash, then the chances of viral multiplying and going deeper into the respiratory tract is less as per the evidence, published evidence we have got. So you can also do this to prevent the infection. Then how do we prepare for the imminent infection? This is another very important question. So if we think that there is a high chance of getting infected, or even if there is, if we do not think otherwise, it is always better to be in a prepared state. So how do we prepare? So we have to identify in advance the doctor that we will be consulting in case we get infected, the hospital where we may seek treatment, and the ambulance services which are available, the contact numbers, and the other alternative mode of transport that is available for us in case it is needed. And place of testing, what are all the laboratories where the testing is done, government laboratories and private laboratories where the testing is done. And the place of isolation, can I isolate myself at my home, or should I look for an isolation facility, either public or private? So you have to find out these details and keep them ready with you. And you have to have a checklist of instruments to keep ready. And you should also get yourself trained as to how to use them if you are planning to isolate yourself at your home or in some place where you will be taking care of yourself under the guidance of a doctor. So then also look for the pharmacy and grocery shops where the free home delivery is provided. And looking at the secondary prevention, we have to decide when should I test and what test should be done. See, please remember, this is the most crucial point all of us should know. There are two types of testing. One is if you develop symptoms as early as possible on the day of developing symptoms itself, corona-like illness or influenza-like illness symptom, any symptom you have fever, cough, sore throat, nasal discharge, diarrhea, or tiredness, or any of these classical symptoms, one or more than one symptoms, you have to get yourself tested on the day one. And in case if you come in contact with a positive laboratory proven case, then you wait for 5 days, between 5 days to 10 days, you need to be get tested. So shall next question that we ask very commonly is, should all members of the family be tested when one person is tested and found positive? Ideally, the answer is yes, but you have to take yourself as positive if you develop symptoms and you already have a family member who is tested positive. So this is a very important factor. It is always better that all the members get tested, or as soon as they develop symptoms, they need to get tested. And then the most important thing is, once you are positive, the place of isolation is dependent on your risk element or risk quotient. So we say there are three grades of risk: low, moderate, and high. Moderate is very difficult to say. We can say that low risk and high risk very easily. Low risk are children less than 9 years, young adults who are generally healthy, less than 50 years are generally called as low risk, and high risk are elderly people and people who are having comorbid conditions that like diabetes, hypertension, cardiac problems, renal or kidney problems, cancers, immunocompromised state, and those who are taking certain drugs for a long period of time for rheumatoid arthritis or for some other disease. They are all on a little on a higher risk, so they need to be isolated in ideally in a hospital setup where constant and better quality monitoring is possible. And the another thing is, what are the guidelines for the primary contacts of the case? So these are the some of the important guidelines. Quarantine if feasible and avoid contact with vulnerable population. If you are the primary contact of a laboratory proven case, then you have to quarantine yourself for 14 days and avoid contact with vulnerable population. You can also start vitamin C and zinc along with ivermectin with doctor consultation. You can also start povidone iodine usage as I told you before, and monitor your pulse, temperature and oxygen saturation twice daily, and especially after 6 minute walk you have to test your oxygen saturation. I will be telling it later also in detail. And keep a watch on other atypical symptoms like conjunctivitis, diarrhea, vague abdominal pain, tiredness, herpes zoster, and many other pimples, rashes, and other atypical manifestations. As and when you develop any of these atypical manifestations, you should suspect that you may be positive, and you should go ahead with testing and consulting doctor and other things. Now, now the D-Day has come. I got the positive report now. So what do I do? So I have 7 golden rules to follow once somebody is tested positive. The first golden rule is you inform all these people. Who should be informed first? Your doctor, then your family, then government or health authorities, then friends and neighbors, then all your contacts in the last 48 hours at least. So now, why should you inform your doctor first? Because you are panicky because the test result is positive. So once you talk to your doctor, he will tell you, he will give you confidence, he will tell you what is to be done. So you get some confidence from your doctor. So now you are in a better frame of mind to inform others. So next, inform your family members immediately. And then the government and health authorities. Generally now, most of the places at the time when you get tested, all your details will be transferred to the government authorities in case tested positive. But in some places, even now, people who don't have Aadhaar card or other ID proof, it is difficult to trace. So it is always better you call up the government agencies like the medical officer, district health authorities, district surveillance officer, or corporation authorities that you have tested positive. And then it is important to tell our friends and neighbors because they will be careful. At the same time, they will also help us in case if it is needed. And most importantly, we should inform all those people who came in our contact in the last 2 or 3 days. Up to 5 days or 7 days, you can tell, but at least in the last 2 days. And in some places, people come to our homes and seek information about the primary contacts. Please do not hesitate. Give a complete and detailed list of all the contacts in the past 5 to 7 days, or at least past 2 days without fail. It is our primary responsibility. The second rule is isolation, investigation, and treatment. Immediately isolated in the designated place, either home or hospital, as discussed before, and you have to cocoon the vulnerable population in your home. That means nobody should go near the vulnerable population, including you. Isolation should be from the date of onset of the symptom and not from the date of receiving the report. So that is the crucial gap of 1 or 2 days between the testing day and receiving the report. So that is a very crucial period where you may end up transmitting the infection to others. So the isolation is from the date of onset of symptoms only. Let it be very clear. and then immediately start the treatment prescribed by the doctor. The doctor may prescribe azithromycin or doxycycline. He may prescribe many other drugs also, but I am not going to talk about that in detail. But you have to take the treatment immediately. You should continue the vitamins, and you can take ivermectin also. Doctor may give hydroxychloroquine. So what is the treatment protocol depends upon various other factors. So the doctor is the best judge to tell you the treatment outline. So then get the laboratory investigations done. Generally, a doctor will prescribe, but even otherwise, go ahead and get at least ESR and CRP done, because these baseline values of ESR and CRP will tell us. Uh, and also, serially, if you check it during the course of your illness, you will know whether you are progressing well, or there is any possibility of complication. Along with these two very important lab parameters, that is ESR and CRP, you can also get D-dimer, LDH, ferritin, random blood sugar, and many other tests, including the CT scan of the thorax or the lungs. So, but all this will be prescribed by the doctor. But just keep in mind, laboratory investigations are very important. They will help us in deciding whether we should continue home isolation or whether we should get hospitalized, and what is the medicines that you should be taking. All these are determined by these investigations. Then the isolation for 14 days from the day of symptom onset or from the day of testing. So it should be at least 14 days of home isolation. The golden rule number 3 is monitoring key parameters. So what are the parameters that I should be monitoring? One is temperature, second one is pulse, then oxygen saturation, blood sugar if you are a diabetic patient, blood pressure if you are a hypertensive. Even otherwise, it is better to monitor blood pressure, and then peak expiratory flow rate. So this is not very important, but you can monitor this as well. And among all these, the most important one is oxygen saturation. So oxygen saturation is how much of oxygen is being carried in the blood to different tissues. So it is measured by a very simple instrument, which is called as pulse oximeter. And you can use this lifesaver test called a 6-minute walk test to measure oxygen saturation. How to do that? So you walk for 6 minutes and you measure how much distance you can cover. If you can cover more than 500 meters in 6 minutes, then your lungs are reasonably strong and not affected by the virus. If you cover between 200 to 500 meters in 6 minutes, then you have a problem. And if your coverage is less than 200 meters in 6 minutes, then you have a real problem and you need to visit a hospital at the earliest. So similarly, the oximeter will give you the saturation. If the saturation is 95 plus at rest, and even after 6-minute walk, if it does not drop more than 5 units, then you are doing well. There is no red signal, there is no alarm. So that means, see, if at rest your oxygen saturation is 95, and after 6-minute walk, if it is less than 90, then there is problem. And if it is 95 at rest and 95 after 6-minute walk, then there is no problem. So this is a single most important test that you can do yourself when you are in home isolation. So you can monitor these parameters using a chart like this, and you can show this chart to your doctor on a daily basis. So the doctor can make a decision very easily looking at the chart. For example, on 5th, my temperature at morning 6 a.m. was so much, and evening it was so much. Oxygen saturation is like this, blood pressure is like this. So on a daily basis, you are entering these details and you are sharing this data with your doctor, and the doctor can guide you perfectly with respect to how you are doing and what you need to do next. Similarly, laboratory parameters chart can also be maintained like this. You can maintain a soft copy or a hard copy. So these are the two important lab parameters, as I told you before, ESR and CRP. Along with that, the many other parameters like ferritin, D-dimer, LDH, and CDC, many other things will be there. You can enter them also. So this is another important chart you can maintain. Then the rule number 4 is don't ignore danger signs. This is another important rule. The what are the danger signs? Your ESR is increasing. You got your ESR was 10 before, 3 days later you got it checked again. Then it is already 20. Then it keeps increasing. CRP is increasing. D dimer is increasing. Ferritin is increasing. So then it is a danger sign. So you need to talk to your doctor and see what is to be done. So don't ignore. And many people ask, how many times should I check my ESR CRP? Ideally, baseline, that is at the time of diagnosis, then every day for 6 days you are in hospital, they will check. But if you are not in a hospital, you can get yourself checked on day 6, on day 9, day 14, etc. But if it is not possible, don't worry. Have at least one reading, baseline reading. And if your symptoms are increasing, you can get, like you are getting fever constantly, or your cough is aggravated, you become breathless, you can test yourself. If the symptoms are under control, you can just manage yourself and monitor yourself only with the 6-minute walk test using a pulse oximeter. And long-standing fever should not be ignored. Difficulty in breathing should not be ignored. Other danger signs like extreme heart rate or a very low heart rate or a high heart rate, more than 100 and less than 50, should not be ignored. And reduced urine output should not be ignored. Rule number 5 is the disinfection measures. That means you have to disinfect the surface that are frequently touched, like doorknobs, handles, railings, taps. They need to be disinfected with 5% sodium hypochlorite solution, which is available in pharmacies. You can spray it also, and it should not, you should not share your toilet with others, because toilets are the places where aerosols are generated and the transmission is chances are very high. So you have to disinfect this. If you don't have that, you can use simply bleaching powder, or you can use some liquid, whichever is liquid disinfectant, whatever is available at home for surface disinfection. You can use the sanitizer itself for doorknobs, door handles, and railings, etc. And another important thing is mask and cloth disinfection. When you are positive, whatever mask you are using, it is better that you put it in a plastic, keep it separately in a closed dustbin for 1 week, and then give it to the waste collector in a separate plastic cover. Don't mix it with the general waste. And clothes, by washing it in detergent, you can soak it in hot water, you can dry it in hot sun. These are all the things which are going to disinfect the cloth also. Rule 6 is lifestyle during the isolation. So it is very important that you take a lot of protein and vitamin rich food like vegetables, fruits, milk, pulses, egg, all. There is no restriction unless you are hypertensive and diabetes, whatever diabetic, whatever food restriction was there before holds good now also. But as I told you before, take low inflammatory diet as possible, and then drink at least 2 to 3 liters of water per day. Do not dehydrate yourself. Sleep well, meditate, listen to good music, read good books, socialize, and then no smoking and alcohol, please. Rule number 7 is no stigma, please. Do not have stigma against yourself or against others. Family member who is tested positive, the attendant should not have stigma, neighbors should not have stigma, healthcare workers should not have stigma. The entire society should not have any stigma whatsoever with respect to COVID. So educate and counsel others, and don't spread the panic by sharing and reading these scary messages and videos. And most important thing is continue to wear mask even after isolation period is over. Many people think that I got infected, I got cured after 14 days. Now I am going around. Why should I wear mask? See, you should continue to wear mask for two reasons. First one is you are helping others by setting an example, and then you are helping yourself against reinfection, because nowadays we are seeing cases of reinfection being reported. So there is always a possibility of reinfection. So continue to protect yourself. And the last most important thing that I would like to tell you is recovery is the role. You have to recover. So be positive, no stigma, and take care. Then the tertiary prevention is post-COVID syndrome. After recovering from COVID, many people have respiratory issues like breathlessness, wheeze, etc. Cardiac abnormalities is also possible. Neurological abnormalities and deficits and defects have been reported, and many other problems have been reported in the post-COVID phase. So all this requires consulting the right doctors and then getting rehabilitation therapy. We'll not talk much about it, but that is possible. Don't worry, it can be easily solved. Then we will see some of the instruments before we close. Now I am going to show you, this is for the nasal wash, nasal dose. So this is the Cipla product which is available in the market, 200 plus rupees. So what you can do is you can use the sodium chloride sachet which is provided with this packet. Put warm water up to of 200 ml up to the mark. Put this, and then the instructions are there. Use these instructions. Instead of sodium chloride, you can put a few drops of 5% povidone iodine also, and you can wash your nose. So that is found to be very effective. You can use this. That's one instrument. This is the povidone iodine liquid, supposed to be very helpful in it is not a treatment, but it is going to help to reduce the viral load as per the evidence. So you can use it for as a nasal wash also, nasal drop also, and throat gargle also. If it is 2%, this is a 2% one, you can dilute it with water, lukewarm water 1:1, and gargle for 20 seconds. Remember, minimum 20 seconds hand wash is required. Minimum 20 minutes of gargling is required to tackle the virus. This is a digital thermometer. Very simple, all of you know. Use this digital thermometer. Don't use mercury thermometer for measuring your temperature daily twice, morning and night. And this is the glucometer. I think all of you know this glucometer. Those who are diabetic can use this glucometer and check their blood sugar level on a continuous basis, and also report to the doctor their findings. And this is the most important instrument. This is the pulse oximeter. So this will give you the most important, that is the saturation level. So you insert the finger and you wait. The reading comes up, and that reading has to be recorded. See, for example, now it is showing us 98 and 64. So very simple to use. Anybody can use. Just insert the finger, wait. Once the reading stabilizes, stays at one particular value, note that value. Then walk for 6 minutes, and after 6 minutes, again measure your oxygen saturation. Then this is PEFR meter. This PEFR meter is not a must, but this will tell you indirectly how your lungs are. So it based on your height, based on your age, we will tell you what should be your PEFR. So the PEFR ranges from 300 to 600, but an average age, the middle-aged male, it should be anywhere around 400 to 500, and for women it is little less, between 350 to 450. So this is not a must, but the most important instrument is these two. One is the oximeter, another is the digital thermometer. So you can use these two instruments to effectively monitor your progress during the isolation. So together, let us all work together to flatten the curve and to bring an end to this pandemic. Namaste. Thank you for the listening. Please spread this message with all your acquaintances and friends. Thank you. Take care.